What's good, y'all? We back with another YouTube video. I hope y'all doing well. I hope you are blessed. We gonna get right into it. We getting a bit more specific, going into the strength training route. So, got the whiteboard with me today. This is going to be for programming for strength training for somebody that has 2 times a week. All right. So, with that being said, the first few things or questions that I'm thinking about off the bat are: what do you have access to? How much time do you have to even complete these workouts? What do you like? What are you willing to try? And what's your goal? I will say there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. This isn't the only way to get results, but I do know that it yields results for a lot of people. So my clients and I prefer full body. With full body, there's more frequency to acquire skills and ingrain a movement pattern. It's easier to spread throughout the week in case you miss a day, and it's great to maximize growth for muscle protein synthesis. All right, now let's get into it. So day 1 and day 2 are gonna be very similar as far as the flow. Both are gonna start with a warm up. If there's one takeaway that I can give you right now that you want to ingrain, is we're literally just going from most demanding to least demanding. Obviously, in order to complete and execute the most demanding, we still gotta warm up. So with that, warm up, it could be something as casual as a bike, incline, or regular flat grade walk. It could be a rower, skier, whatever is going to get your core temperature up, your heart rate up. That's one way you can look at it. I say that's one way because the other side can be a bit more specific, which I do love to implement, which is more mobility deficit training, or it can even just be something that mimics the main lift. But I always give the option of mainly those 3 because sometimes people don't want to have that level of intent or focus. They just want to get their body warm. And maybe they don't have a specific deficit that they're working on. They just want to get their body warm, move some weight, and get up out of there. So warm up about 5 to 10 minutes, whatever gets you primed and ready for the session. In order to ignite our nervous system even more, this is where I love to implement power training. So this can be sprints, this can be jumps, this could be slams, throws, anything of that sort where it's a quicker contraction. It could be something where we're just developing power as a quality. So for day 1, I have a medicine ball slam. We're going all out intent, especially in like this early stage of the workout, and especially for power because it's going to be very demanding on the body. It's going to recruit a lot of motor units or recruit a lot of muscle. The reps aren't going to be that high. If you do it for time, the time's going to be fairly short. You'll notice that between 2 different qualities, if we're talking about endurance versus sprinting or speed, you're not going to be able to last as long if you're going all out speed. So we're working qualities like power. That's why it's not going to be for a very long period of time. Now there is certain things like aerobic conditioning to where you're working on alactic power and things of that nature, sure, but they're still going to be on the shorter end of the spectrum. Because if you think you're doing it for 2 minutes straight, you're not working power or speed anymore, it becomes endurance, no matter how hard you're going. A little tangent, but still relevant. So we have medicine ball slams, quick duration, probably no more than like 10-15 seconds. From there, we're going to go into our main lift or our strength work. So they're going to mirror each other in some way. With the med ball slam, you're slamming into the ground, hinging similarly with the trap bar deadlift. So that's going to be the main lift. The lifts subsequent to that, there's a conscious effort with how you map it out throughout the day. So if this is going to be more leg oriented, the trap bar deadlift, I'm thinking lower, upper, lower, upper. It would just be really challenging if you have it set up towards like lower, lower, upper, upper. You still can do that, especially if you superset it, but more times than not, when you're working large muscle groups like your legs that are gonna be taxing and take a lot out of you, it'd be tough to have something right after it that's working fairly similar muscle groups. And even with that being said, staying on the topic of sequencing, trap bar deadlift, I'm working almost my entire body through my feet, my calves, hamstrings, glutes, quads, and my grip. So knowing that I'm moving pretty solid weight as it's my first lift, my main lift, I really wouldn't want to put a chin up right after that. Still a great movement, there's nothing wrong with the exercise. But because I just did the trap bar deadlift, my grip may be cooked. So you got to think about that when it comes to sequencing. So going with the lower first, the trap bar deadlift, then I would consider any sort of pressing movement, dumbbell bench press. It could be push up, insert, barbell, whatever. But I would go pushing movement, pull, push. You get me? So then after that, we're in those complementary main lifts. Still have a lot of intent behind these movements. I don't want you to think, even though we're at halfway in the workout or even past halfway, that we're just falling off or tapering off. The goal is to be able to sustain the pace, sustain a decent amount of weight and load that you still can recover from. So we're here with the dumbbell goblet split squat, back to a lower leg movement. I'm even conscious, and the reason why I put goblet was you easily could put using 2 dumbbells and holding them at the sides. But again, you kind of just did that like 10 minutes ago doing the trap bar deadlift. So I'm going goblet hold. Still can load it super heavy, still getting the stimulus for the quads. And then after that, going to chest supported row. Still pushing a decent amount of weight, still something that I feel like would be tolerable at this point in the workout. And then towards that back half, the last like 10 minutes or so of the workout, we'll start to integrate accessory lifts. So these are the lifts that can handle more volume, tend to be smaller muscle groups, calves, calves, forearms, biceps, triceps, things of that nature. This is what I would put in at this time, even core and abs. So I normally will pair like a ab movement. For this, I have leg raises, and then arm movement, dumbbell, bicep curls. All of this take you about 45 to 60 minutes. If you're quicker or shorter on time, it could take you 20 minutes. Just would have to reduce the volume, but you can definitely knock this out and get a good session in. I like to really just map this out so people see the visual of like we go into it and have this notion or thought process like, oh, I can't do it, or I won't be able to check every box off. I'm like, you're still getting a good amount of work, working a decent amount of qualities, and can be in and out of the gym. So it's very feasible and possible to get this done in your week. And you gotta think about this. This is still can be done in under 2 hours in your week. If you go back to another video where I break down the 168 hours in a week that we have, you can definitely knock this out if you're not doing anything at all. Now, obviously, there's ways to modify and have potential regressions as far as the difficulty, and there's progressions for each and every one of these. So the main thing would just be putting yourself in that realm that applies to you, to where you are currently, and finding that entry point, if you will. Day 2, exact same setup like I said earlier. It's gonna flow just about the same, most demanding to least demanding. Still intent and focused behind each and every movement, whether it's mobility related stuff and it's non-weighted, or even if it's just forearm or tricep work at the end. There's still intent behind it. The same thing, warming up for 5 to 10 minutes. Whatever is going to increase the core temperature, get your heart rate up, get you primed for the session. Same thing, power is going to go right after this. For this day, I have a box jump. Again, anything in that family of the plyometrics, the bounding, jumps, throws, tosses, slams, sprint work, all of that fits in that realm right there. And again, there's a lot of intent with it. It's recruiting a lot of muscle and motor units, so it's going to be more on the shorter, quicker bursts. All right. Then from here, main lift again. For the main lift, we have front squats. Another point I didn't mention in day 1 that I'm going to mention here, especially when we get to that main lift right after power, I tend to want to put a leg movement first, just because I know it's going to be the most demanding and most taxing. It's just, think about it, 2/3 of your muscle. So I'd rather do that and then have the upper after. Personal preference. Of course, if you work in a different structure, maybe even not something that's full body, there's times and place to put upper in there completely. But for the sake of this, it's going to be lower body. Same as before, I'm thinking lower, upper, lower, upper. So right after the front squat, we're going into chin-ups. So mentioned that previously. Same thing, going into lower, we have the leg curl machine. Just insert anything that could be hamstring based, because the front squat was quad focused. So it could have been glute bridge position with sliders and you're doing like an extension into flexion. It could be the leg curl machine. I would say you can even put in dumbbell RDLs. You're working that posterior chain of your legs basically. And then from here, we have incline dumbbell press, chest press. So same flow, same kind of synergy, everything's working, but these are still complementary to the main lift. Finishing out the session with the accessory lift. So this one I wanted to incorporate grip and a bit of core. So we have farmer's carries, making sure that the dumbbells stay off of our body and they're not resting on our thighs. Loading it fairly heavy, going for a time. You can even do it as a walk. And then finishing out the session with some dips. Still a compound lift, working multi-joint, and same thing, 45 to 60 minutes. Can condense it, make it even 20 minutes. But this is how I would conceptualize a 2-day strength program. Now there's still many other elements to it, There's some moments where I had conditioning towards the end of sessions and it could be more like a finisher. I could have conditioning on other days. Like I said, for somebody that already has a barrier to start, I don't want to either elongate the session or I don't want to add other days for them to come in and be like, oh, I got to do conditioning. It's already going to get them in their mind and they're going to just detach and like not want to do it. So if I'm just like, best bang for your buck, let's get some strength work again, especially if they have no foundation for it. This is going to be something that is vital for them to start. And then as they get more acclimated, we can add a finisher, maybe get their heart rate up. A lot of people do tend to like that because they're used to seeing the HIIT classes and the Barry's Fitness and the Orange Theories and all that good stuff. Giving them that little sensation or nugget makes them feel like they did something. For some people, they actually can conceptualize and understand. I did everything I needed to. I did my strength work. I got in, I got out. But that's one way I can add the conditioning is at the end of the session, but I typically prefer to have it on its own separate day to really get the adaptation that we're looking for. But that's all I got. Let me know if y'all rocking with this, if it made sense to y'all. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section. But yeah, I definitely don't mind doing more of this, going into 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, what that looks like, and then also showing you how to incorporate conditioning into this as well. That's all I got for today. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm gonna catch y'all next time. Peace.